House of Representatives to probe MDAs in universities over job sales. Resident doctors gives federal government 2 weeks to implement 200% salary rise. Kwara State government reverses 3-day work policy for civil servant. In business, terminal operators hike tariff on imported vehicles by 36%. And in the international scene, South Sudanese president promises first election since independence. And in sport, we will be set for Everton's day. Hello, welcome to Standard Voice Television News Channel. I'm Svtv Ibrahim. The House of Representatives has resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate federal ministries, departments and agencies and tertiary institutions over their alleged mismanagement of personnel recruitment, employment racketeering and breach of the integrated payroll and personnel information system. This follows a resolution on a motion moved by Oluwole Oke at plenary on Wednesday. The House noted that the federal government has tried to address other abuses within the system, particularly the maintenance of ghost workers. It added that this necessitated the introduction of the IPPIS to help fish out the large number of ghost workers. Presenting the motion, Oke stated that the process of recruiting and employment into the civil service had become fraught with endemic corruption. The House therefore resolved to set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the MDAs, parastatals and tertiary institutions to report back within 4 weeks for further legislative action. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has issued a fresh 2 weeks ultimatum to the federal government over the implementation of 200% increment in the salary structure of its members, among other demands. Our correspondent Omokonso Muhammad has more.
The resident doctors reached the resolution at a virtual extraordinary National Executive Council meeting to appraise the level of implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed with the government on May 19, 2023, following a 5-day warning strike embarked upon by the association on May 17, 2023. The communique was co-signed by NARD President Orji Innocent, Secretary General Chikezi Kelechi, and Publicity and Secretary and Social Secretary Umar Musa. NARD called on the government to, without further delay, pay all outstanding arrears owed its members, including the hazard allowance and the skipping arrears from 2014 to 2016, and the arrears of consequential adjustment of minimum wage. The doctors said there is no justifiable reason for the government to keep owing their arrears and allowances. Kulsum Muhammad, SVTV News.
The first batch of Zamfara State pilgrims who performed this year's Hajj in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia had arrived at the state well and healthy. The pilgrims were received at the Gusau Hajj transit camp by the government officials. The first flight carrying 425 pilgrims departed the King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia at about 2 o'clock Saudi time on Tuesday afternoon. The flight touched down at the Sultan Abubakar, the 3rd International Airport, Sokoto, at about 6 p.m. on Wednesday, 5th July. Our correspondent in Mecca, Samir Ibrahim, has been monitoring the evacuation of the pilgrims back.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi. I just stepped up from Jeddah Airport now, and I'm expected to arrive in Sultan Abubakar, the 3rd International Airport, Sokoto, after 7 hours, inshallah.
The Zamfara State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Sokoto has on Thursday adjourned its sitting to Friday, 7th July 2023. This follows the inability of the lead council of the APC, who was unable to get flights from Makurdi to Sokoto. From our studio, I contacted one of the APC's lawyer, Barrister Abdurrashid Haruna, who was at the tribunal sitting in Sokoto for further details.
Well, the tribunal sat as earlier stated, and unfortunately the proceedings could not go on due to the fact that the lead counsel representing the petitioners missed his flight yesterday. So based on the request from other senior counsel for the petitioners, they actually requested the tribunal to adjourn the matter till tomorrow.
Barrister Abdurrashid, what was the reason for the adjournment?
Like I said, the lead counsel in the matter, Osuli SAN, missed his flight from Makurdi to Sokoto yesterday. Due to that reason, the other lawyers in the matter crave the indulgence of the tribunal to adjourn the matter till tomorrow.
Have all the factions of the lawyers agreed to the adjournment?
Yes, the other, parties in the matter, that is lawyers representing Dauda Lawal, other ones are representing PDP, while the remaining ones are representing INEC. All of them have agreed that the matter be adjourned till tomorrow, except with a condition that today be counted as one of the days expended by the petitioners, because according to the pre-hearing report, petitioners have 14 days to make their case, and today being the first day should be counted as one of the days actually spent by the petitioners. So today is day one, while from tomorrow and subsequent days will also be counted as part of the days for the petitioners to present their case.
What was the response of the tribunal regarding the request for the adjournment?
Yes, the tribunal has graciously granted the adjournment till tomorrow without any cost, except that, like I told you, today has been counted as one of the days for the petitioners to present their case. So petitioners have now 13 more days to go.
Okay, now do you think the tribunal would meet the deadline for the judgment considering the delay in the commencement of the hearing?
Exactly. There is no cause for alarm. Like I told you, petitioners have 14 days to make their case, and today being the first day, I don't think there is any harm in that, because all in all, I think petitioners have about 30-something witnesses. So plus or minus, they can even decide to finish their case within a week or so. So that 14 days is enough for the petitioners to present their witnesses and make their case, and as such, there is no any cause for alarm.
Thank you, Barrister. Reports across the state indicated that many lives were lost, others injured, while several people were abducted by bandits. On Wednesday, a barrister, Ahmad Kotarkwashi, was assassinated by the bandit who evaded his house at Barakallahu Kotarkwashi of Bunguri local government area of the state. Similarly, in Kotarkwashi, 9 people were also killed by the bandits. Also, 4 people were abducted behind Karma Hotel area in Gusau Metropolitan. Report indicated that a woman was abducted on Wednesday in Bakyaswa village of Mararu local government area of the state. The attacks and abductions are coming at heels of the state government resistant to engage the bandit in any dialogue. A former governor of Zamfara State, Senator Ahmad Sani Yarima, approached President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to consider possible dialogue with the bandit in northwestern Nigeria for possible solution to the crisis. The National Primary Health Care Development Agency has disclosed that a total of 189,310 children in the southwest of the country lack routine immunization from January to June 2023. The federal government-owned agency also pointed out that immunization, particularly the eradication of all forms of vaccine-preventable diseases, remained its top priority. Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Dr. Svtv, stated this at the opening of the first quarter 2023 review meeting of the Southwest Traditional Leader Committee in Primary Health Care Delivery held in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Dr. Shoaibu noted that Lagos has the highest count with 79,297 zero-dose children, followed by Oyo State with 53,812 children, Ondo 30,280 children, Osun 19,737 children, Ogun 3,204 children, and Ekiti with 2,998 children who have never received any form of vaccination effort. Kwara State Government has announced the reversal of the directive reducing work days from 5 to 3 working days for civil servants. The government on June 5, 2023, through a letter from the State Head of Service, Mrs. Susan Oluwole, reduced the work days from 5 to 3 days in the state. Mrs. Susan said the decision was to caution the effect of fuel subsidy removal by the federal government on the civil servant in the state. However, in a letter to the head of ministries, departments and agencies, Mrs. Susan reversed the decision. She said that the new directive was to allow the federal government and the organized labor to work out modalities and more efficient intervention to cushion the effort of the subsidy removal. And on business, months after the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria requested that terminal charges be reviewed upward, Port and Terminal Multipurpose Limited has announced a 36% increase in tariff on imported vehicles with effect from July 1st. In a public notice signed by the management of the PTML, the terminal said the current economic condition of surging inflation, currency devaluation and subsidy removal had increased its operational cost. The terminal, in a notice, said it has received the approvals of relevant authorities for the tariff hike. It could be recalled that a few months ago, Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria in a statement said it was supporting a hike in terminal operators' tariff so that the terminals can fulfill their commitments to the dock workers who are members of the union. And on the international scene,
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
South Sudanese President Salva Kiir pledged that elections previously postponed and now scheduled for next year would go ahead as planned and that he would run for president. President Salva Kiir, a prominent warlord, is the only president South Sudan has known since he led the country to independence from Sudan in 2011. The world's youngest country has since gone from crisis to crisis, held together only by a fragile government of national unity created after a peace agreement between Mr. Kiir and Vice President Riek Machar. After a transition record, elections were due to be held in February 2023, but the government has so far failed to meet key clauses for the agreement between Mr. Kiir and Mr. Machar, including the drafting of the constitution. In August, the two leaders extended their transitional government for 2 years beyond the scheduled date, citing difficulties in implementing their peace agreement. Mr. Kiir assured observers that these difficulties will be resolved before the elections scheduled for December 2024. And on sports, midfielder Alex Iwobi looks set to remain at Everton for the forthcoming season after his father Chuka dropped a hint about his future. Iwobi, whose contract expires in the summer of 2024, was part of the players who modelled the new Everton kit for the new champion. The Toffees had tabled a contract offer for the Nigerian, but he was reluctant to make a decision until Everton's Premier League status was confirmed. The Nigerian international, who has spent 4 years with the Toffees after completing a transfer from Arsenal in 2019, has established himself as a key part of the side, starting all 38 Premier League matches for the 2022/2023 champion. According to Football Insider, the former Arsenal man will decide whether to accept Everton's proposal next week. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, here's a recap of the major headlines. House of Representatives to probe MDAs in universities over job sales. Resident doctors gives federal government 2 weeks to implement 200% salary rise. Kwara State government reverses 3-day work policy for civil servant. On business, terminal operators hike tariff on imported vehicles by 36%. And in the international scene, South Sudanese president promises first election since independence. And in sport, we will be set for Everton's day. That's the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Fauzi Ibrahim. Do have a nice day.